Hey everyone, um, I'm going to be talking about giving a training on JavaScript objects. Um, it's a basic presentation. There's a lot to JavaScript objects, but I'll be going over the basics of it. I'm going to um, share this presentation that I have made up. So JavaScript objects. Um, so the JavaScript objects are much like normal everyday objects. Everything has properties such as color, size, and name. The basic assignment goes something like this. So you'll have your HTML coding, and then this can be in the body, it can be in the head. So you'd put declare your variable, which is house here, and then it would be I would assign it to my house. So my house is now the variable house. Then to call it, to insert it, I would type out document.getElementById, and then the sum ID would be what would call it later on, and then inner HTML equals house. So this document.getElementById is telling the browser to pull house and insert it in some ID, which would be it's something I'll show later on, and then you'd close the script tag. Or you can assign multiple properties at the same time. So the variable house, I give it properties of 4 rooms, 2-car garage, and 2 bath. So object methods are actions that can be created to make an object act. You can create a method by using a function method. It goes like this. So you'd have your function, and then the function, so you could call it later, and then you need the curly brackets and return. This house has a, and then the end quotes, and then you'd have to do a plus house garage, so that would call it from the script tag, and then you put another quotes or the strings. So it would say it would output this message: this house has a 2-car garage, and the 2-car is inputted by the function. So example code that I got from the web, from W3 Schools, was they use the example from a fiat, declaring all the all the properties from the car. So you have your variable, the type of car is a fiat, the model is 500, and the color is white. So then this document.getElementById is inputting it to this demo paragraph. So in this paragraph is where it'll say what car type you select, or what property you selected. So you do car.type, so it takes this fiat and then inputs it here. If you had car.model, it would input this 500 and put it here. Now the example code that I created, very similar, but I changed a couple things. I changed the ID, and so I made variable house. So it has 3 rooms, 2.5 bath, and a 2-car garage. So document.getElementById show, so this matches this ID, so it'll display here, inner HTML equals house.garage. So I'm calling this garage, so I want to output 2-car. So that's the example from that code. Now in the actual, this is the actual the code. So I have this example code, which I showed in the presentation, and then it'll output this. It'll output 2-car because I'm calling the house garage, and so it's outputting this. And then in the example from W3 Schools, the code will output fiat because it is calling car.type fiat. And so you can use this in many different ways. You can use it while calling different functions and requiring the functions to solve a math problem, and then it'll output the answer that the function received using you can use if-then statements. You can use all the other different statements and then come up with a new output for the program. So that is all for that is all for my presentation. So I hope you enjoyed, and yeah, I'll stop sharing my screen there. I hope you enjoyed listening to me talk about JavaScript objects. So I've got a long ways to go to learn more about them and to understand exactly how they work and how I can best use them. Thanks for listening.